Hey there and welcome. Today, we're going to decode something fascinating and, often really misunderstood about people. Why you, or maybe someone you know, actually prefers, and sometimes really needs, to be alone.
I mean, you've definitely seen this, right? You've got one friend who's totally content with a quiet weekend and a good book, while another one just has to be around people to feel alive. It seems like a simple preference, but the psychology behind it? It's so cool, and we're going to solve that puzzle together, right now.
The first thing people usually jump to is, oh, they must be shy, or they're antisocial, or maybe even lonely. But nope, as we're about to find out, that's usually not the case at all. The real answer is actually found in two really powerful psychological ideas that kind of shape how we deal with the world and with ourselves.
Okay, let's dive right into our first clue. It's a concept called social energy, and honestly, this idea is a total game changer for understanding why people are the way they are.
The easiest way to think about social energy is to picture the battery on your phone. For a lot of us, social interactions, and even the fun ones, they just drain that battery. Every chat, every meeting, every party, it just takes a little bit of that power. And once you're running low, you feel totally wiped out, and you got to plug in somewhere quiet to get your charge back.
And this is so important to get. When someone chooses to be alone, it's not about avoiding people. It's not because they dislike them. It's just a practical, totally necessary way to manage their energy. I mean, you wouldn't keep trying to use your phone when it's at 1%, right? Well, they need that solo time to get back to 100. For them, solitude is literally the charging port.
But managing social energy, that's only half the story. The second big clue is all about where we get our sense of self-worth from. Let's just call it your internal compass. So what in the world are internal standards? Well, it just means that you've got a really strong inner sense of your own values and goals. Your feeling of self-worth doesn't really depend on what other people think about you. You're basically navigating life with your own compass, not constantly asking other people for directions.
And this lays out the two different paths so perfectly. On one side, you have internal standards, where that feeling of validation comes from inside you, from your own satisfaction. And on the other side, you've got external validation, which is all about the outside world. Getting likes, hearing praise, fitting in. Well, people who prefer solitude, they tend to draw their strength almost entirely from that first column.
So we have our two big clues: a social battery that drains pretty fast and a strong internal compass for feeling good about yourself. Now comes the fun part. Let's get to the revelation and see how these two things just click together. And this is the logic, laid out so simply. It's like an equation. If being around people costs you a ton of energy and you don't really need other people around to feel validated, well, the result is pretty clear, right? Solitude isn't just nice to have, it becomes absolutely essential. It's where you get your energy back and where you can check in with that internal compass that guides you.
And that's really the crucial point here. It's a functional system. Liking to be alone isn't some kind of flaw or a social problem. It's actually a super effective strategy for managing your own energy and holding on to a strong sense of who you are. It's just a different operating system.
Okay, so this is all pretty cool. We've kind of cracked the code, but so what? Why does this actually matter in our day-to-day lives? Well, this new way of looking at it is incredibly powerful for understanding other people and for understanding ourselves.
Once you get this, you can stop thinking that friend who leaves the party early is being rude, and instead you just see them as someone who's managing their energy. And hey, if this sounds like you can finally stop feeling guilty for needing that alone time and just accept it as a core part of how you work best. It completely reframes solitude from being a negative, like an absence of people, to a huge positive, the presence of yourself.
And ultimately, that is the biggest thing to take away from all this. When you move away from judging, either yourself or other people, and you move towards understanding the why behind it, well, it just changes the entire conversation. It makes room for way more empathy, a lot more acceptance, and just a healthier way of looking at what makes us all a little different. So, I'll leave you with one final thing to think about. Just take a second and think about your own internal wiring. Do crowds charge you up, or do they completely drain you? Is your compass pointing inward, or are you always looking for external maps? Because understanding where your energy really comes from, that's the first step to truly understanding yourself.